Hey y'all, it's Brittany. If you're new to my channel, hi. If you are not new, welcome back. It's been about a month, I think, since I updated y'all. I believe I was 9 weeks pregnant at that time, or 10 weeks, I think. Because I think my last video was like 6 to 9 weeks or 6 to 10 weeks. But I am now 14 and a half weeks pregnant. I am officially in my second trimester. So I thought it would be fun to just like do like a wrap up video of my first trimester. Especially because I have noticed that there were some symptoms I had back then that I didn't realize at the time. So if you're interested in it, then just keep watching. Okay, so I will say I have had a very extremely easy pregnancy so far. I have been very lucky. There's not really a lot I've had to deal with. I really haven't had any issues or anything like that. Everyone I've talked to, when they ask me like how I'm feeling and stuff, they all have said, oh wow, you know, it's really, really good. Hopefully it stays that way. So I will put that out there. I am very blessed that I've had a really easy pregnancy so far, especially because a lot of people say the first trimester is the hardest on your body. Well, other than, you know, you're towards the end of your third when you're huge and you're ready for it to be over. But so I want to say, I think I never had any nausea, never had any morning sickness, never had any food aversions. There wasn't nothing. If I smelt it, I would throw up or gag. There was no foods I just couldn't eat, aside from 2 different times when I was, I think, 6 and a half weeks exactly. I woke up and I threw up my orange juice and I felt like crap the entire day. I had chills and I had no appetite. I couldn't eat. I had really bad like lower back pains and all that, but I actually think that was like a little stomach bug that was going around my daycare and not like actual pregnancy symptoms. And that was really the only time I had that issue. When I was 12 weeks, I believe, because it was right before I got on my first trimester. I was either 11 or 12 weeks. It was a Saturday morning. I woke up, I got out of bed, and I just felt nauseous, did not feel right. I decided, okay, you know what, maybe I need a yogurt. Let me just eat something light. So I ate like half a yogurt and laid down on the couch, and not long after I threw that up. And I felt terrible the entire day, couldn't get off the couch. I had no appetite. I remember trying to eat some chicken noodle soup and it just tasted disgusting to me. Like it just felt nasty. Like that's the best way I can explain it. Like it was just nasty. Like not taste wise, I don't know, I couldn't eat it. Like it was just ugh to eat. And that lasted the whole day from the moment I woke up to when I finally fell asleep. And after that first day, I could eat again, but I still had no appetite. So for a solid week, from that Saturday to that Friday, I had no appetite. It was very hard for me to eat. I would try to eat something because I knew I needed to, and I would take 2 bites and feel like really full, and like I could not eat. Like my stomach could not hold any food. And I felt really bloated, but my stomach was hurting. Like I was having hunger pains saying like, hey, you need to eat, but I physically could not eat. I wasn't nauseous and I wasn't sick. I wasn't throwing up, none of that. It was just, I had no appetite and I just felt really bloated. And that lasted a full week. I remember I had my first prenatal appointment that week, and I explained that to my nurse practitioner and everything. And she was telling me, she's like, whenever you're trying to eat and you physically feel like you cannot eat, just eat. Like that was her advice, just eat. And I was like, well, thanks, that helps a lot. And Hunter, I swear to God, Hunter rolled his eyes. He was just like, wow, thank you. Wish we would have thought of that. But luckily, like 2 days after that, I did get better, and I haven't had any stomach issues since. And that is really the only bad symptom I've had. And again, that may have not even been a pregnancy thing. That could have been like just some weird stomach bug issue, because I do work at a daycare, so I'm constantly around sick children. I am constantly sick, catching whatever they have. but I was really scared because it was at the very end of my first trimester. I was thinking, of course, I'm going to be that small percentage that has a great first trimester, and then the second trimester, which is supposed to be like the easiest part, is going to be hell. But luckily so far it has not. I was extremely tired, still extremely tired. Whenever I have days I have to work and I come home, I literally will get home usually between like 2:30, 3, and just wait for it to be 8 o'clock so I can shower and go get in bed and be ready to go to sleep. Like, I'm just waiting for it to be nighttime. Every day is just me getting home from work, waiting for it to be nighttime. And I'm tired of that. But on days when I don't work, I can wake up early, I'm good. Like today, I didn't have to work and I'm good. Like, I feel like I have full energy. But I think it's just because I do have a very physically and emotionally draining job at times, because I work with 6-month to 1-year-olds. I'm constantly on my feet, constantly, changing diapers, putting them to sleep, playing with them, picking them up. And then there are days when all of them are just extremely fussy. One doesn't feel good. And if you've been around babies, if one is upset, the others, even if nothing's wrong with them, they sense that that one's upset, so they're upset. So there are days where, like, emotionally, I'm just drained when I get home from work from trying to help them and teach them to regulate their emotions. And so I think that could also be a lot of the reason why I am so tired on work days, but that's just the price of being a daycare teacher. I love my job, I can't complain. No, I haven't had any food issues. I've ate everything I wanted to eat. I will say, this is something I did not notice my first trimester, and I just recently noticed it, was I did not want to be like affectionate or touched or lovey-dovey or like even really sexual my first trimester. And I didn't actually realize that at first till a week or two ago. Hunter actually mentioned it. He was like, it's funny. I feel like since you got pregnant, we kind of switched roles. Like, you kind of just want to keep to yourself, play on your phone, chill out. And I'm actually the one trying to be affectionate and stuff like that. And after he said that, like, I really noticed, like, I finally realized that's, like, he's right. Like, I don't know, like, I just don't, which I'm normally a very affectionate person, physically, verbally, emotionally, all of that. Like, I'm very lovey-dovey, but I just haven't had the want to be, I guess. And he has been so great this pregnancy, and he's not naturally an affectionate, emotional person. He shows his act of love by acts of service and providing and taking care of me. But since I've gotten pregnant, I've noticed he has stepped up, and he has been trying to be more open emotionally wise and verbally wise, and being like, hey, I love you, and trying to show more interest in the things I do. Like, for instance, like, our favorite music to listen to is rock. Now, he prefers some more like Godsmack, Breaking Benjamin, All That Remains. I prefer more like the emo, I guess, punk type of thing, of like All Time Low, Black Veil Brides, Motionless in White, like that type. But lately he has been like showing more interest in what I prefer, and like actually trying to listen more to it and stuff like that, because he knows that's what I like. And I've noticed that, and I'm very grateful for that, to see how much he actually cares and how much he wants me to be happy, because he knows if I'm happy, then the baby's happy. And I really appreciate that. Same thing for just like Rowan in general. There was something. A symptom I had Sunday, when the day I was 14 weeks exactly, we were at church, and we were just up singing, and I randomly just fell and started shaking. And his grandmother, she like scooped me up, brought me outside. He followed, and it's because my blood sugar got low. That is the second time it's happened, but both times it has specifically been at church. And I'm thinking it's probably just because it's a very small church, very stuffy maybe, and that's why. Now, granted, both times I didn't eat anything, which was my fault, but I generally don't eat for a good hour to 2 hours after I wake up. And it was like that. Like, I woke up at 8, we had to be at church at 9, and I hadn't ate anything. And by 9:30, I fell. So, like, an hour and a half, which, again, I don't normally eat as soon as I wake up. But I do generally drink some type of juice, like generally orange juice, with my prenatals in the morning. And I didn't take my prenatals that morning, so I didn't drink my juice. So I'm guessing my blood sugar just got low. But ever since then, he's been, like, very, like, worried. Like, he'll text me in the morning, hey, did you drink some orange juice and eat something before you got in your car? Because now he's worried, like, well, what if your blood pressure drops or your blood sugar drops when you're driving? So he's been really on me about that. It kind of worries me. So I have an appointment with my prenatal appointment next week. So I'm gonna mention it to them because it kind of scares me. I'm like, maybe there's a chance I could have hypoglycemia, but I really think it was just because it was stuffy in the church. It definitely freaked me out. It freaked him out. It freaked his parents out and his grandmother, because they, we were all there. So we've been watching that. I'm definitely gonna ask about that. But back to the not really want to be affectionate or anything, I noticed my sex drive, like, completely diminished the first trimester. And I remember at one point, this is probably TMI, but at one point we were in the middle of, intercourse, and I just physically, I felt into it. Like, I was wanting it to happen, but down there was just as dry as a desert, I guess. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to explain this without being weird. So my hormones, I guess, we were just like, no, we don't want to do this. And that was kind of annoying. It was like down there just was not working. That was I think I've only experienced that 2 times. I know for sure that 1 time, but since then, like, we haven't had that issue. Since the 2nd trimester, actually, I've completely noticed my sex drive seems back to normal so far. But that was kind of weird, and, like, it was not something I really noticed until me and Hunter were talking about it, and then we were like, oh, yeah, we really haven't done much. And really, I feel like not a lot has been changing, symptom-wise and everything. I started out the pregnancy at 113. That has been my very consistent weight for years. I don't fluctuate weights. I stay at 113. I'm kind of fluctuating now, but I weighed myself this morning and the other day, and I was at 120, which means I have gained 7 pounds in my first trimester, which generally, I want to say, they say you gain like 0 to 4 pounds during your first trimester. Like, you don't really gain much. But I am, because I was 113 pre-pregnancy weight, and I'm 5'8", because I'm so tall and I'm so skinny, I am technically underweight. And my BMI is under 18.5 or whatever. I think it's like 15, maybe 16. When I went to my first prenatal, when I was 12 and a half weeks pregnant, I weighed 116. Technically, that weight scale said 117, but she did not wait for it to say 117. So it was technically 117. But I think it showed that my BMI was 17 something. So it was like only like 1 point under what the average 18 should be, which, is very good. But I'm very happy that I've gained 7 pounds. It does fluctuate. Some days it'll be 118, some days it'll be 119, some days it will be 120, but at the most it's been 120. And I'm really trying hard because when you are underweight, you are going to have to double what you're technically supposed to gain. And being underweight can have just as many issues as if you're overweight and pregnant. So I'm trying to level out my weight to what it should be, so that way I don't hopefully go into early labor, and that Rowan is able to fully grow into a good size, like a good, healthy, strong size. Because, that's the most important thing, is that he's healthy. and I'm trying to do my very best at everything I do is so he can be. So that's kind of just my wrap up of my first trimester. I will include pictures. I have been taking bump photos. I haven't been doing videos, but I have been doing a bump photo of each week. I think I have 9, 10, and 11, and 12, and 13. Or maybe it's 10 through 13. I don't know. I'll put them up on the screen. I think it was around 11 and a half weeks is when I started to really notice like a roundness. And I have a little bump now. It's not like, it's more noticeable obviously if I push out than if I'm just like standing very relaxed. But yeah, so that is my wrap up of my first trimester, and I am currently 13 and a half weeks pregnant today. But oh, I do have a picture from when we went to our prenatal. I'll put it on the screen. He was, I think, like, I don't even remember at the top of my head what his length was. They didn't tell us how much he weighed, which is kind of annoying. His heartbeat was like 176, I believe. And the first ultrasound we did, they told us 169, but I looked on his little photo and it was like 178, I think, or 172. It was in the 170s. So both times we've had an ultrasound, he's had a very strong, high heartbeat. But also I do know anything past 180 can start to be dangerous. So right now, you know, he isn't reaching dangerous level, but he's a very active little boy. And, you know, I'm surprised I can't feel him, because when we both ultrasounds, he was literally just like moving so much. And I'm excited for when we're able to do our next one. I think I'll be like 18 weeks or so. So it'll be another month or so until we're due for our second ultrasound. We did all of our blood work at our 12-week appointment, and everything came back good. Blood work came back, he is still a boy. We got blood work through a sneak peek when we were 8 weeks. It was a boy, and this blood work was still a boy. So he is still our little Rowan James. Oh, that's another update. In my last video, we were trying to figure out what to name him. We had fully chosen Rowan for his first name, but we were trying to decide between Hunter's middle name, which is James, and his dad's middle name, which is Guthrie, because he always wanted to name his first son after his dad. But we talked about it with his parents, and his mom was like, you know what, just name the baby what y'all want to name him. He's your son. And also, she mentioned James before we even mentioned we were thinking of using it, because James is a family name. It was Hunter's great-grandpa who passed away last year. His name was James. That is who Hunter is named after, his middle name. So we figured, you know, that name does have a lot of meaning in his family, and we really like how Rowan James goes together. So that is what we have decided for him. And it's still weird though, because there's a lot of times I'll still just refer to him as the baby or even it, and Hunter will jump on me. He's like, he's not an it, he is a boy. Call him, call him his name, and stuff like that. And we've been making ourselves like actually use his name. That way we can actually hear it and make sure it is what we want, which so far I love it. I don't plan on changing it. In my head, he is Rowan James. Like, that is who he is. No new craving. Oh, I've had a new craving. The last couple of weeks, I crave Dr. Pepper, which sucks because, you know, Dr. Pepper has caffeine in it. So I've been drinking Sprite instead, and I got some decaf coffee. So whenever I crave it, I can just make that and still not feel bad for drinking it. I do drink a small Red Bull every now and then. I only try to do it once, maybe twice a week at the most. And it's like the very small 8-ounce cans. They only have like 80 milligrams of caffeine. So I'll drink one of those if I'm craving it. And then that'll be the only caffeine I drink the entire day. Which, considering I have like a $200 to 300 milligram caffeine limit, 80 is nothing compared to that, especially because I don't do it every day. And most days I do try my very best not to have any caffeine. I'm trying to drink water. I will make myself drink 1 bottle of water a day, maybe 1.5, because like I'll get thirsty in the middle of the night. But I'm not very good at drinking water, and I know I need to be, especially because when I plan on breastfeeding, so I need to be super hydrated. But we're just gonna have to work on that. Thank y'all for watching, and I hope that y'all find this as entertaining as I do. And thank y'all for coming along my journey with me. This is a very special time for me and for Hunter, and we're just both so happy and so blessed. I know years from now, after Rowan's born, I'll come back and look at these, and it'll really mean a lot, especially if I'm able to show him when he gets older. So thank y'all for watching, and I hope y'all have a good day. Bye. I said bye and then realized I never actually showed y'all a bump date of my stomach at 14.5 weeks, so I'm gonna do that now. Okay, bye y'all.